Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're doing some swatchings with Universal Yarn Bella Cash Worsted. I have 3 colors this time: Seedling, Amethyst, and Storm of this lovely Bella Cash Worsted. Now this yarn is 60% merino wool, superwash merino wool, nylon, and cashmere, a touch of cashmere to make it super soft. It's machine wash cold, gentle, lay flat to dry, but it is so luxurious. So this is a worsted weight yarn, and it's, like I said, produced by Universal Yarns. I'll put the link in the description below on where you can get these lovely colors, plus a lot more other colors. But these really are my aesthetic, these colors. And I'm just thrilled that Amy at Universal Yarn sent me 3 colors, so then I got to play with color and do a couple different color work swatches. So let's talk about them, shall we? So I used this eye size hook for my swatches, and I made this one the other day. So now this one, I think you saw me make on camera. This is a Tunisian pattern. This is, I believe, a double crochet knitwise Tunisian pattern. I will link that video in the description below also, but this is how it looks in Tunisian. You can practically see the drape without even touching it. It's just got really wonderful loose drape. I think I used a K-sized Tunisian hook for this little swatch, but as you know, I love Tunisian crochet, and so I love to swatch with it when I'm trying a new yarn. And this is a new yarn to me. I've never used it before, so I was thrilled to have a couple different colors to play with. So this is the Stormy color. And then I picked up the Seedling, and this is the second swatch I did. So this is a row swatch, and this is the right side. So this is a joined arches pattern. So if I put it in front of something dark, you can probably see it even better. But a very easy double crochet and some chains and a single crochet. You totally can do this even as a beginner. But look at the wonderful drape of this swatch as well. It is so floppy and squishable. So really a very nice stitch pattern for this yarn. I could totally see this in a market bag. But for something that has cashmere in it, I'd really want it next to my face. It's really a luxurious fiber, and it's such a treat to be able to work with a yarn that has a touch of cashmere. Of course, merino wool is very soft also, so you can imagine when you put the two together just how squishable this yarn is. It's really a plump yarn. You can really feel how squishable and it is. It's very nice. So let's see what else I have here for you. So then, because I had more than one color, like I said, I love to do color work, so I like tapestry crochet. Have you guys done tapestry crochet? So tapestry crochet I like best worked in the round. That way all of the stitches are on the right side. So I just made a little tube and I was just playing with the stitches. So I had 3 of the amethyst and then 3 of the seedling for this row, and then the next row I just put a single crochet. These are all single crochets. And so the trick, if you don't know it, for tapestry crochet is just changing color frequently and carrying the color that you didn't stitch with along the row so that it's ready when you're ready to pick it up. So as you can see with this row, I did 2 purple, 2 green, 2 purple, 2 green. So I'm working with both colors, just taking turns with them on the row. So tapestry crochet. So no, I didn't really make any particular pattern. I was just playing with color. Then I made a solid green and a solid purple. But you can see how lovely these colors work together. I think if I had added the blue into this swatch too, it maybe would have been a little less contrast and maybe you wouldn't have seen the pattern quite so vividly. But I think you can see that there are possibilities for like a Fair Isle type sweater, whether either knit or crocheted, would really be gorgeous. Now Fair Isle, as you know probably, is just 2 colors worked per row. So it's not as intimidating looking as as intimidating to make perhaps as it is it looks super impressive. So I like to use just 2 colors at a time when I'm working my tapestry crochet or my Fair Isle type stitching, but certainly you can use as many colors as you want, but when you're carrying the unused color along, it gets a little bulky. This yarn is great. So even with the 2 colors worked in single crochet, it's got great drape with an eye-sized hook. So that gives you an idea. It's a super soft little texture here. It feels really nice. Little tapestry crochet for you. All right. Should I do a video on tapestry crochet? What do you think? Is that new to you or something you've already mastered? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so also the blue and the green would have looked great together too, but I chose the amethyst and the seedling. All right, let's see what else I have. So continuing with the color work theme, I did a little mosaic style swatch. And so I started with the amethyst and did a foundation row. And this row had chain 2 gaps. And then on the next row, I worked the green and worked into the row below. So it looks pretty fancy, but it's just a 2-row repeat. And I changed colors at the end of the row. And so that's why I have some ends here hanging off the side. So these would make great fringe. So soft. So even this dense pattern, this is a pretty dense pattern. There's no holes in it. It has also got great drape and feel to it. And so I think that really is the combination of the superwash merino wool and the nylon and the cashmere all together. That's what makes it so awesome. So even with an eye-sized hook, working color work with no holes in it, not a lacy pattern, but more of a dense pattern, it still has great drape and feel to it. So can you imagine how this would make a beautiful jacket or a vest? This would make a great men's vest, especially if you chose dark colors like this or a contrasting color. So I think the possibilities are really endless with this. I can't imagine anything I wouldn't do with this yarn, except because it has the cashmere in it, and that's quite a treat to use cashmere. I would not probably use this yarn for kitchen projects or projects that are going to get a huge amount of wear and wash, because I'd want to keep it special because it's just rare that we get to use cashmere. So I like it. I think I would have to be, what's the word, stingy about my yarn. Like this would make a really beautiful gift or a really beautiful item for myself, but I'm not sure that I would use this yarn if I'm going to crank out a ton of projects to give and donate. Like I would really want to kind of hold this tight to myself. But hey, if you have the time and the giving heart to give cashmere, then go for it, because I'm sure people would appreciate it. It is so soft. Well, you know, I can't do swatching without doing a motif, so I also did a motif in the amethyst, and I started with a hexagon here. Let's move this into the frame. So is it a hexagon? Yeah, it's a hexagon. So I started out with some clusters and just kept working my way out. Again, it's a beautiful drape. It's very squishable. It's very soft. It's not snaggy. It didn't come unwound. So some yarns, the way they're spun, they kind of come untwisted when you work with them. But this did not do that. This stayed really nicely spun while I worked with it. I am a right-hander and it is crochet. So sometimes yarns, when they're crocheted, they do come untwisted or unwound, but not this one. This one stayed really beautifully soft and together for the whole project. So let's do a little swatching, shall we? So you can see how it looks when I'm working with it. Let's pick the green. Remember, this is the seedling color. Move a couple more of these into the frame. You guys can tell me which one you like the best in this yarn. Tell me how this yarn inspires you to make a new project. Let's see, I totally could see a cowl. Wouldn't this make a great cowl? Oh my goodness. And a matching hat and maybe some matching mitts too. You totally could do it. I do like the idea of a denser stitch pattern with this yarn, because it is going to be warm with the merino wool and the cashmere. And of course the nylon is a great addition in there as well. So I'm just chaining a bunch. I don't really have a plan. You know what? I don't usually make motifs when I'm swatching on camera. So should we do that today? Let's do that today. So I've just chained a bunch. I don't even know how many. And I am going to just wing it and make it up as I go. So I'm going to slip stitch in the first chain to form a big old ring. And so this is going to be a really big hole. So I'm going to go with a big stitch. So I'm going to do some treble crochet clusters and see what happens. This is really how I design a lot. So I just kind of wing it, and then I take notes if I like it, and if I don't like it, I start over and do things differently. Sometimes I keep my mistakes so that I can learn from them and remember what I did that I didn't like so that I can do something different. Look how, I didn't do tall stitches in the previous swatches, so I'm glad that I'm choosing these trebles now because look how beautiful these trebles are looking. Gorgeous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what I put in between there. So I'll do it again just for consistency's sake. Trebles. And as you know, I like to do tall stitches and short stitches when I'm swatching so I can see how both look in a yarn. And these treble stitches are looking mighty fine, don't you think? Look at that beautiful stitch definition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it's one of my feelings that swatches, especially motifs, don't always have to be symmetrical. So I have 4 of these large petals, and there's no reason why I'd have to make 2 more to make a hexagon. I could also stop and turn and make the motif kind of like corner or a side. So let's see what happens. It's all about experimenting and just playing with yarn. So I'm going to see, what do I feel like making next? Let's make 3 of them in this spot. I'm going to separate it by just 2 chains. Tell me how this yarn inspires you. What would you make out of this yarn if you were to go to your local yarn store and find this lovely universal Bella Cash worsted on their display shelf? You'd probably pick it up, you'd probably hug it, you'd probably think, this is really soft. It would make an exquisite sweater, of course. Absolutely. Boy, who wouldn't want to be wrapped up in that? Maybe somebody in Florida. So maybe it might be a little too warm for Florida, but hey, certainly when you make your trips north or to the colder sections. Let's go ahead. Let me just go down and see what happens here. You know, this would be a really gorgeous yarn, certainly a great gift yarn for sure. Really a nice gifting special yarn. It would make gorgeous baby wear. A baby sweater would be fantastic. Because it was was it hand wash cold or was it, let's see, machine wash cold. Okay, so it would be possible to make a baby blanket out of it, but it is lay flat to dry, and I tend to be a little bit lazy about that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind for what you want to do to care for your items. Swatching. Thank you so much, Universal Yarn, for sponsoring this video and sending me some lovely yarn that I had never seen before to give a try and share with you guys. 1, 2, let's put another one over here. So you are seeing me designing in the moment because I really had no plan when I started the camera today. And so let's see what happens. You never know. You might see this one day. I might turn it into something. Do you design as you go along? Well, the real question is, do you swatch? That's the real question, isn't it? So I think I added an extra, I think I added an extra chain here, but not there, but that's okay because I'm just swatching and playing. Look, this is kind of fun. I kind of like this shape. It's feeling very shamrocky. So let's make a few more treble crochet clusters and get back in the camera frame for you because I totally have not been paying attention to whether or not my hands were in frame, so I apologize about that. I got too excited and wanted to bring the yarn closer to me. But I believe that motifs don't have to be symmetrical. They don't have to be like one of the polygon shapes that you learned in grade school. They can be very organic shapes as well. Of course, then you have the tricky spot of trying to put them together in some kind of fashion where they join. Okay. So I need one more to make it match the other side, but it's not going to go all the way around. So let me finish this last little treble cluster and then I'll show you what I mean. I say little, but it's a big treble cluster because they are trebles and not double crochets. Let's see what I came up with. Let's see how this turned out. Move some things out of the way. Maybe the dark is a good thing to show. So this is what I have so far. So it's not all the way around motif. It's so far just 2 rows, and it could be like on the side of a project. And I kind of like it. It's kind of fun. I like these big old fat petals. This kind of reminds me of like a shamrock or something. And so here's the other side of it. So it's just some place to start. So I hope you've enjoyed this special swatching video of Universal Bella Cash worsted. Please let me know what you think. What swatches do you like? How are you inspired to use this yarn? Please go to the website and check out all the other lovely colors. And I'll put the link in the description below so that you can do some shopping. Also, it's important to know that when you follow the link, I think there's something special for you at the Universal link that I'm providing below. So it's important that you read the description box below because I think there could be some special treat for you viewers. So don't miss it. It's very important that you check the description box below and follow the link because I think there's going to be a prize at the end of the link. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next one.